Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Joy and this is NX Joy, and today we have a pick a card reading for you. It's what makes you beautiful? That's the question we're addressing, and we're gonna go through a couple of ways you're seen as beautiful, first towards the public and then next to the closest people around you, and then next to your conscious self, and then last but definitely not least, your subconscious self. So things that you might not feel or know that you're beautiful, but you are. So we have 4 piles to choose from today. First pile is calcite. The second pile is agate. The third pile is rose quartz. And the fourth pile is ferruginous quartz, or technically golden healer stone. Alright, so timestamps are going to be listed down below. I will see you there. Ciao. Hi, pile 1. If you chose this calcite, then this is your reading. So first we're going to get into how the public sees you, and then how the closest people around you see you, then how your conscious self sees you, and then last but not least, how your subconscious self sees you. Today I kind of just wanted to do a more lighthearted reading, something that's just, a little fun and just like a pick-me-up, which is always amazing. All right, so first we're going to get into your public self. So if you chose this calcite removes spiritual energy blocks, allows for positive vibrational flows for healing, and enhances enthusiasm. So publicly, you come off as, I'm getting very Cancerian or Leo vibes, which is interesting because you'd think they're like two different signs, so they exhibit two different traits, but at its core, both of them have very flowy, positive, and healing vibrations to them. They're both very enthusiastic and both very warm and accepting and nurturing. So this is how people publicly see you. They see you as someone that kind of clears the air. Like, I'm getting your breath of fresh air. So you're someone, whenever you walk into the room, to the public, it's a very refreshing feeling. It's like when you get out of the shower or after swimming. After swimming in a lake or the ocean or a body of water, after a nice hot summer day, when you take a dip in a pool or just a body of water, and you get that after feeling of just feeling renewed and fresh, and it's just overall like a sigh of relief, That's how you come off to people. So you give them a sense of calmness. That's something about both Cancers and Leos, is that they have this very integral sense of calmness to them. And not a lot of people think that about Cancers, but if you met a Sun Cancer, you'll know that they come off as very calm, cool, and collected. And they don't like to openly show their emotions to just anyone. In fact, they will have a really great emotional control to the public. Same with Leos. They might be quite animated and enthusiastic, but if you've met Leo risings, I find Leo risings are a lot more subdued. They're a lot more calm. They're a lot more aware of the spaces around them. So they bring this very positive, very enjoyable, very energetic kind of spark to life. And it's very refreshing in a lot of dull spaces. So you might have a Leo rising or a Cancer sun, or even maybe a Cancer moon, one of the two. But I'm getting more like Cancer sun or Leo rising kind of vibes from you, which is really nice. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna get into more aspects of your public self and how others see you. So you have the lilac. First, emotions of love. Love is the magician that pulls man out of his own hat. Or we can say love is the magician that pulls people out of their own hats. Yeah, okay. So when the public looks at you, they think of you as like the ultimate, I'm getting like person next door, like, or like just like that ultimate relationship goal kind of person. You're someone that kind of looks like they could have a very stable and very fun and a very like romantic relationship. You have that air of romanticism, which Cancers and Leos do have as well. They're very like they're very eye-catching to a lot of people in public, because they exude that energy of nurturing, and they exude that energy of warmth and love. And it just, when people look at you, it's like love at first sight. First emotions of love is basically love at first sight. Like they can see a future with you. They can see like you being their like significant other or being their spouse. Like when they look at you, like you give off that kind of vibrational energy, which is really lovely and really nice. Yeah, okay. So that's how the public sees you. Very warm, very refreshing. How do you be warm and refreshing at the same time? Well, we're all walking paradoxes, so it's like you're warm in the sense of you're very nurturing, but like just again like going out to the beach on a hot summer day and taking a dip by the pool or the lake or the ocean or body of water that you're closest to, and you have that warm but refreshing feeling about you. It's like like I feel renewed, I feel cleansed, I feel so at ease, and like there's just space for other people to be themselves around you, because you just exude this vibe of, oh, like things are good. We're good. Like, oh, it's just so serene and so so warm and refreshing. Like I keep saying this is the third time I'm saying it, but that's the image I keep getting is people taking a dip by a body of water on a hot summer day, and at nighttime, like when they come out and having that like refreshing feeling. So yeah, so that's how the public sees you. So before I keep repeating myself, let's move on. And we're gonna go to the people closest to you. And you have transforming tragedy as well as grounding my energy. So to the people closest to you, you come off as someone, like the closest people around you, you ground them. You give them, excuse me, a safe space to be themselves. And that's what a lot of people in the public, how they already like get that vibe. But to the people closest around you, you cement that vibe. You are someone who, like, you see what you get. You know, you're a person, like, you're not like, you're someone that, like, when people see you and they meet you, they're like, yeah, that's what I thought about you. Like, they're just like, yeah, I thought you'd be a really nice person, and I thought you'd be like someone who's really like chill and relaxed and like just open, and like someone who can like hold space really well. Like, you come off that way to other people, and then to your closest loved ones, that's how you act, which is really beautiful. You give them a space of grounding, you give them a space of being themselves, especially. Like, people feel very much like they can be themselves around you, and you're the person that like people would go to for advice whenever they want to pick me up, whenever they want to get out of feeling bad. You're that person, because you allow other people to vent their emotional turmoils, and you help them see a lighter side. You see the brighter, more realistic but optimistic kind of side, you know? Like, I'm getting that image where like Kim Kardashian, her like engagement ring falls in the water, and then Kourtney's like, Kim, there are people dying. You're like Kourtney, so like your friends are like Kim, who are crying over something that's like important, but like, you know, like there are bigger things to be like worried about. And you're Kourtney, you kind of give them that grounding energy of like, it's gonna be okay, like this is not the end of the world, you'll get through this. You're that kind of vibe. You're like very motherly like that. Like you don't coddle anyone, but you do give them a space to have a bigger perspective of what's going on in their life, and you ground them so that whatever they're going through is a little bit easier to get through, because they recognize that they're wasting their emotions and they can be just enjoying themselves a lot more. You give people a space to enjoy themselves a lot more. Yeah. Okay. At the back, they say, it is safe to be in my body, and loss is a reminder that more room has been made for greater gifts to be received. So yeah, to your loved ones, you're very attractive. Like, your body is very attractive. I'm seeing different body types, so no matter what body type you may be, like, you're very attractive to the closest people around you. Like, they're probably your friend, obviously because you have a wonderful personality, but like, you caught their eye in public, and that's why they wanted to be your friend, you know? That's so cute. I used to have a friend who would like make friends because they like thought they were super attractive, and they just wanted to hang around super attractive people. And like, you're that person. You're that like person that people want to go to because you're like super hot. Like, your body is super hot. Like, again, I'm seeing multiple body types, so it doesn't matter how much you weigh, it doesn't matter how curvy or skinny or muscular or tall or short, thick or thin. Like, sorry, one moment. Hey, pile one, sorry about that. I just got a call, so I'm just tuning back into your pile. Sorry. And where were we? Okay, so we were looking at, to the closest people around you, how do you come off and what makes you beautiful? It's really just the fact that there's multiple facts, obviously, but like it's mainly the fact that you are someone that that is very, very visually pleasing and very much someone who catches people's eye and who people are very sexually attracted to as well. Sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm sorry. Oh my God. But yeah, you are someone who's just very sexually attractive, and people really find your body very well maintained, very healthy, very glowy, very safe, you know? Like, again, it doesn't matter what body size you are, like, it doesn't matter what weight you are either. Like, when people look at you, they're just very visually pleased. Like, you have very good proportions. Yeah. And you also just, again, like, to the people around you, what makes you beautiful is the fact that you give them a broader perspective on life, and you give them room to kind of breathe and air out their grievances, and then have a reflection on those grievances and are able to kind of learn from that. You're very nurturing. Your heart is what makes you beautiful to the people that are closest to you. And for the people that don't really know you as well, for the public, it's very much your body. Very much your body. Especially like the upper chest area and the waist area. Again, you have very nice proportions. Yeah, I'm also getting you have a very beautiful face. You have a very cute, like, doe-ish, like you know that trend that's like doe eyes or siren eyes? You give off like that doe eyes kind of feel. Very warm, very nurturing, very inviting, very open, very pleasing, like very cute, you know, like girl next door, boy next door, person next door type of vibes. Yeah, like what's her face? Lily Reinhart on Riverdale. Whoever her character is, you give off those kind of vibes to the public when people look at you. Again, it's very love at first sight kind of vibes. Anyways. Okay, so let's go into your sun self, so your conscious self, and how your conscious thinks of you in terms of what makes you beautiful. Ooh, okay. So you have, let's put it here. Oh, sorry about that. You have 8 of Cups, upright. You have 6 of Swords in reverse. And you have Justice, upright. So consciously, you're someone who doesn't take shit. And what makes you beautiful to yourself consciously is that you know how to set boundaries, and you're someone who knows how to walk away whenever they know, either whether they know they've done, like, that someone has done them wrong. You also know how to walk away whenever you know you need time for reflection and you need time for space in order for you to sort out your own feelings. But what you find about yourself that makes you really beautiful is your sense of balance and harmony, and your sense of knowing that there are multiple aspects of your soul and being able to integrate those aspects of your soul. Like, you don't take shit from anyone. Like, you're super sweet, and you recognize the fact that you're super sweet and you're super kind, and you give off those very, very sweetie, like very kawaii, like vibes to people. But like, sometimes it will attract people who are not the best for you, and who may be going through their own dark nights of the soul, or their own like personality traits that they're trying to shed. You're someone who kind of repels, like, consciously you repel you repel like fuck boys, fuck girls, fuck people. Like, you repel like ashays if you're Australian, or if you're like on the East Coast. Ashays, like, you'll know what they are. But like, if you're on the West Coast, ashays are like people who like try to like, who are very bravado, who are like machismo, who like try to like act as if they're all that, but they're really not. They're just like this like hollow shell. Yeah. Like, consciously through your actions, through your words, through like how you move about in the world, you will move away from those people. You will remove yourself from people who do not serve you, who take advantage of others, who are tricksters, people who just kind of use people for their own gain, and they don't give anything back. Yeah, so like, consciously, how you find yourself beautiful is someone, like, you are someone who knows when to walk away when necessary, and you bring balance and justice to those around you. So like, you will be very nurturing and kind and loving and generous, and very compassionate and sweet and joyful to those who are in your inner circle. But for those who are just trying to get something out of you, who are just trying to like use you for your body, let's say, like, you just don't give them time of day. And if they try to come at you, you verbally are very quick-witted, so you know how to like banter really well, and you know how to shut them up. I've been watching Heartbreak High, and there's a scene where like one of the characters calls another character's mayonnaise as an insult. Yeah, it was just a very witty thing to say at the time. So you're someone who does that. You're someone who doesn't take other people's shit, and you know how to call people out when they're doing wrong. And that's what you find beautiful about yourself. You also might have a tattoo. You might like love your tattoo. You might find that you're wanting more tattoos. And you love this very fun and playful and soulful part of yourself when it comes to what you put on your body. Yeah, and you find yourself very easygoing. Like, what makes you beautiful in the eyes of you is that you find that you're like, I'm getting very Libra energy. I know I said Cancer and Leo, but I like, that's to the public and to the people around you. That's how you like come off. But like, to yourself, like when you're alone, you're very Libra-esque, and like how you view yourself versus how other people view you is different. Like, you view yourself more like a Libra. Like, you're very harmonious, you're very balanced, you're very much someone who is quick-witted and who knows how to like nurture people, but also doesn't coddle them. Again, I'm getting that whole Courtney and Kim scene when Kim loses her ring. So you're very much like Courtney in that sense, where you have a really broad perspective and you really value your intelligence and your emotional maturity. Okay, So last but not least, we're going to go into your subconscious self and what you may not realize, like things about you that are beautiful about you that you may not realize. Okay, we have beach, this beautiful beach, which I love because this is a very beachy like theme that I wanted to do today. And you have death or dying, and I think that pairs so well with transforming tragedy. And we're gonna put it on this because balance. But yeah, also with grounding energy. Wow, like these are, see, okay. Remember when I was saying like the way you come across to people is how you can't, like, how do I say this? Your subconscious self and how others see you are very similar. Like you might see yourself in one way, but there's a part of you subconsciously like who like knows that what the public sees about you is true, you know? You're someone, in terms of what makes you beautiful and what needs to be brought to your awareness, is that you are very authentic, you know? Obviously, obviously, you know, but just a reminder, you're very authentic, and the way you come across to people is how you are in real life and how you treat others. Like, you're a very good friend. Yeah, you're someone who's very much nurturing and loving and gives life to friendships. You're someone who can help serve and sacrifice their time in order to really be there for your friends or family or loved ones. Like, you're someone who, and it's not to a fault though, that's the thing. It's not like you like pour out of an empty cup. No, like you have your cup filled. Like, you know, like when it's time to step away from a situation. So what you need to know in terms of what makes you beautiful is that you can pour into other people's cups because your cup's already full. And it's like overflowing with all this love and care and compassion because you know how to be by yourself. You know how to really nurture yourself. You're gonna hate me because I'm gonna bring in another zodiac sign, but I'm also getting very Virgo vibes too. Virgos are hermity. They are the hermit of the tarot, but they are also someone who, a healed Virgo, someone who understands themselves as a Virgo and has worked through a lot of self-doubt, self-criticism, perfectionism. They know how much value and how much worth they bring to the table. And that's you. Like, what makes you beautiful is that, like, you know what it's like to be in solitude, you know? You're alone, but you're not lonely. And that's why when you're with others, and that's why when you're with your friends, you're able to really shine yourself that way. And you're like, I guess that's not the right word. You're really able to be there for them. You're really able to be present and in your relationships with others. And that's what your subconscious self wants to tell you. Like, it wants to tell you that you make such a difference in other people's lives, and you're not alone, and you make others feel, you make others feel like they're not alone too. You make people feel like they have the whole world to explore, and they would love to explore it with you, you know? There's a lot of balance in this. Like, these two trees, they're not the same type of leaves. They're two different types of leaves on the top of the tree. Let's bring that closer. See, there's one like a lighter green and then one more like a yellowy green. Yeah, you have a good balance in terms of how you conduct yourself and how you handle yourselves, and you know when to bring in depth and you know when to bring in freshness. Yeah. Is that it? Okay, yeah, that's it. So that's what makes you beautiful, pile number ones. Aw, love that. Love you. Oh, I feel so warm in your energy. Anyways, okay. I hope you have a great day, night, or evening whenever you're watching this. I hope this gave you a nice confidence boost and just a reason to smile. I hope you have a wonderful time again, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Hey, pile 2, if you chose this agate, then this is your pile. So first we're gonna get into what makes you beautiful on the perspective of the public, and then to the perspective of the closest people around you, and then how you see yourself in terms of what makes you beautiful, and then how your subconscious sees yourself in terms of what you need to be aware of when thinking about what makes you beautiful. Okay, so the first card as well as the stone will tell us how the public sees you. Okay, you got Pansy. Viola tricolor, sweet thoughts. Pray you love, remember, and there are pansies, that's for thoughts. Okay, so what calcite does, oh, sorry, did I say calcite? I want to say agate. So what agate does, it's a grounding stone. It stimulates spiritual awareness and psychic abilities, and it brings awareness of self, truth, and building, as well as self-esteem and confidence. So to the public, you are a sweet afterthought. You are someone who's very confident, who is very much put together. You are someone who is like, there's how do I say this? You come off as very cool, but very spiritual. Not to say that spirituality isn't cool, but like you come off to someone like you're not in someone's face about spirituality. Like people can just kind of sense that you're like an old soul. So to the public, that's how you kind of come across, is someone that's an old soul, someone who's very charming and who knows how to be very vibrant, and but not off-putting when it comes to being too positive. Like you give good balance, you give a very maybe that's why I said pile 1's calcite, because pile 1 also is very witty and very charming in that sense. Like you're different because it feels more like, it feels like someone who's very earthy and very much someone who knows what's up and is aware of the different types of environmental needs and causes, but you're not too in your face about it. You're like someone who goes off hiking and probably posts stories about being in nature. You're probably someone, you're probably someone who has very scenic photos on Insta, or likes to take more landscape photos, and who likes to just kind of be out in nature and likes to go hiking, likes to go canoeing, who likes to go portaging or skiing. Like you're someone who's active in nature. That's what grounds you, and you give off a very athletic body to other people. Like, people look at you and they're like, yeah, this person probably works out in their spare time. And that doesn't mean you do, but that's how it comes across to other people. Like, you have a very toned, very well-maintained body. And when it comes to like how you interact with the public, you're seen as someone who's an old soul, who's very charming, and who leaves like a good impression on people. Like, people would be like, yeah, I want to meet them again. Or yeah, like if you're in a job interview, you'll get the job, or you'll get into the next round for that job, like very, very easily. Okay, so we're gonna look at how the closest people around you see you. Oh, I forgot that. Okay. I thought you guys got 3 cards. Oh, no, you got 2 cards. Sorry, my bad. Okay. You have embodying my soul, as well as unraveling codependency. So to the people around you, like very similar to how the public sees you, this is like the closest, like your closest loved ones, your best friends, like your family. Yeah, people like you just see the most. Like, those people see you, and they also see the old soul in you. They also see how spiritual you actually are, because you might not be very publicly spiritual, or you might not show that side very like openly, but to your loved ones, they see how connected you are to the collective, and how connected you are to other people in the environments, and just life in general. And it's very old soul. Like, it's very much like you're like Iroh in Janora's body if you watch Avatar, The Last Airbender, or Legend of Korra. So you're someone who is like a great spiritual teacher on like personality wise, but the way you come across and the way you look to people is someone who's very like young and new and like I want to say fresh as well. Like, to your loved ones, what makes you beautiful is the fact that you still have a very childlike quality. Like, you're able to see the newness in everything. You're able to be present and enjoy everything. But you have such a deep layer of wisdom and such a deep layer of connectivity to you. Okay. You also got unraveling codependency. So, to your loved ones, you may be coming out of a stage of where you're very independent. Like, the closest people around you have seen your evolution and your growth, and how you've changed in the last few years, and are recognizing that you're your own person, and that you don't need to be around others as much. Like, you're probably someone who has put in boundaries now, and you're someone who now knows when to take time for themselves without expending themselves too much. Okay. At the back of these cards, we have I have a right to be excited, as well as only I have to feel good about my choices. So to your loved ones, to your closest people around you, what makes you beautiful is that you are someone who's very again, I'm getting childlike, who has such a joie de vivre. You're someone who like gets excited over the things they love, and they're very passionate over their hobbies and what their favorite boy band is, or their favorite girl group is, or who like gets really cutely excited, kind of like when a kid like goes to Wonderland for the first time, or to Disneyland for the first time. Someone who like a kid at the candy store, you know, you're very wide-eyed, you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much things to try. I'm so excited to try all these new candy flavors. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so grateful. I have such a lust for life. Like, that's how other people see you. Like, that's what makes you beautiful to the closest people around you. So that's probably why they want to take you places, and they want you to be there when they're doing things. Like they'll show you their favorite movie or their favorite show, and it will feel like they're watching it through a whole new light, through a whole new perspective because of you. And it feels like that's why some people in your life have been very possessive over you. Some people in your life have wanted you to be codependent on them because they really love and see the beauty in your connectiveness to life, and they want that. They're like I want to feel like this all the time. Let me be with pile 2 all the time. Because they make me love life again, and they make me feel connected to the divine, to source, and to the present moment. So right now, what makes you beautiful is they're now seeing that you are an individual, and you have the right to your own time. You have your own autonomy to your energy and your space, and they are really glad that you've put in boundaries, and they find it very beautiful that you've grown so much, and you don't allow these things to happen to you, that you don't let anyone take advantage of you that way. Yeah. So I'm getting you have a very beautiful mind as well, and you have a very like a sultry kind of face, you know, very very Bella Hadid, very siren-esque quality about your facial features. And your like torso area is very nice. Like it's just very nice. Your proportions are also very nice. Same with pile 1, you know, like have a really solid body. And again, doesn't matter what size you are, doesn't matter what shape you are, like people just see you, and like they're very, especially your loved ones see you, and they are very much attracted to your mind and your body. You also might put out really like solid thirst traps if you like doing that. The people around you, like the people who are attracted to you, really enjoy them. But yeah, you're probably someone who gets a lot of likes whenever you post a selfie. Okay. we're gonna go to your conscious self and how your conscious self sees you in terms of what makes you beautiful. Ooh. Okay, so you have the Fool. You have the Four of Cups. And you have the King of Cups. So just like earlier, this is very much confirmation in terms of you having this very new sense. And the thing is that you know yourself well enough, you have so much self-love in yourself that you already know that, like, how people see you, how your loved ones see you is very accurate to how you see yourself. Excuse me. You understand that you're very connected and you're very spiritual and you're someone who's much like, who's like a puppy dog, who like is just so excited about life and about like their passions, and who enjoys spending time with their loved ones, and who brings this very sweet and playful and romantic energy to the room. Especially with this King of Cups here, like, I'm hearing you make time stop. So for other people, when they're going through an emotional roller coaster, you're someone who can slow it down for them and really like help them escape and heal from those heavy emotions. And in terms of what makes you beautiful, you're someone who loves your spirituality. You're someone who loves being in your own world and doing your own thing and having time to themselves. You're someone who is very confident in themselves. Like, again, and very authentic, because how you see yourself is how others see you too. It's very similar, you know? Like, especially, I'm getting that especially because of these lines. Like in the Four of Cups, the lines are like shining outwards, and in the King of Cups, the lines are shining towards the King. So you're someone who, as well as the Fool, it's shining on the Fool. So like, you're someone who has an accurate sense of self, and you're someone who others see clearly. Yeah, you find yourself attractive. Like, that's why you're taking selfies, because you know it. You know how good you look, and you want to share that, and you want to, you just want to slay. And you do. Like, you have that Rihanna vibes. Like, I know I'm beautiful, and I know how much I'm worth, and no one can tell me otherwise. No one can say shit. You know? Like, yeah, like, I love being in the clouds. I love my spirituality, and I love how I come across to other people. I love my romantic side. And I love that there's such a grounded stepping stone for me to walk on the path of life and still feel so spiritual and emotionally controlled. Like, you're someone who's handled their emotional controls and who can bring their dreams down to earth. Ooh. I'm hearing you're making my dream come true. So you know how to make dreams come true. You're like a really good manifester. Because you have so much self-love and self-confidence, you can just like, you can go for it. So that's what makes you beautiful in terms of what you're already aware of. So in terms of what your subconscious self wants you to be aware of, you have social media and you have being at work. So In terms of what makes you beautiful, your subconscious self wants to tell you, like, you're doing a really good job. Like I was saying earlier with the posting thirst traps and posting selfies, you know, like people love that, like, and your subconscious also loves that because it's a conscious reaffirmation that you value yourself, and you might be an influencer. Actually, like, this might be your job. This might be like, you might be a beauty guru, or you might like to do TikToks, or might like to make videos, but like, your face is your job. Like, your face is your job. If you see New Girl, I'm seeing that scene where like Jess is trying to like fight Cece, and Cece's like trying to like cover her face because she's like, my face is my job. My face is my job. And that's you. Like, the way you present yourself is authentic to who you really are, because you recognize the value and the need for authenticity online, and you know when to show emotions and have emotional control online, but still be vulnerable and still be yourself. Like, yeah. And that's why it's your job, you know, like, what makes you beautiful, like, and if you're not an influencer, and if you don't post regularly, then subconsciously, like, there's a nudge being like, you should, like, you can, like, you have the ability, you have the assets, you got them assets, girl. And you don't have to be a girl, you can be a dude, you can be non-binary, like, I'm just saying that you have the ability to put yourself out there and be well received. And you might not feel that way all the time, but you could make a career out of it. Because you're so, like, I don't know, I know to the outside and to your loved ones, there's a very, like, confidence-esque part of you, like, but like, you can't be confident like 24/7. I guess you could, but there's still, like, everyone has insecurities, right? And like, it feels like you've become very knowledgeable and comfortable with those insecurities, and you're able to really like love those insecurities and show other people who might be insecure about that part of themselves too, that it's okay to like be this way, and it's okay to like love these parts even though you might not feel the best about them all the time, you know, like, you give them stability, you give them a time and a date, a reference point to their inner soul, and to how they want to see themselves in terms of being comfortable and okay with loving all parts of themselves. You're like one of those people like Trisha Paytas who doesn't care, like, you don't care in terms of like if people see you with a full glam of makeup or au natural. Like, you're someone who exposes the fact that there are real bodies and there are real faces, and like, we shouldn't get too distorted over how social media is and how we're perceived by like others and the standards of beauty that now exist, you know. You're very confident in who you are, and that's what makes you beautiful. You know you're beautiful, and like, and the things that you've felt insecure about, you were able to like come out of that. Like, you're able to like love those parts of yourself. Okay, so last messages. We're just going to sum it up for you to the public. You're very confident. You're very enthusiastic, and you're very charming to the public, and you make a lasting impression. To your loved ones, they find you very much someone they want to be around all the time, because you bring such a new perspective and such a emotional stability to them. And to yourself, you have a very spiritual, daydreamy energy that you find very beautiful. And you have a very good sense of being authentic to who you are and how you show that to others. And subconsciously, like, you could fully make this a career in terms of being on social media and being an influencer. Or you might already be an influencer and have already made this a career on social media. Yeah, okay. So, pile 2s, that's your reading. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope this confirms to you how beautiful you are. You're probably only clicking this just to, like, for funsies, you know, because you already have that confidence and that air about you. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Hey, pile 3, if you chose this rose quartz, then this is your reading. So before recording, I kept hearing a few songs. So I heard like Style by Taylor Swift. Like You Never Go Out of Style. I heard PYT, but the one from Selena Gomez's Cinderella Story, the one that Drew Sully sings, where he's like, you're the new classic, you're the new PYT. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I just kept hearing like classic and that you never go out of style. Like, even the rose quartz, like if you chose this rose quartz, like what makes you beautiful is like you're like a timeless beauty. Yeah. Okay. Like I totally like I had to say that first. So like I guess there's like when people, like, it just hits people when they see you. But I'm gonna get into what we're actually talking about today, so sorry about that. I just had to make it known. Divine Source really just wanted me to relay that message real fast. So anyways, okay. So first, we're gonna go into how the public sees you, and that's the energies that I've already been tapping into. And then we're gonna go to the closest people around you, how they see you, and then how your conscious sees you and how your subconscious sees you when it comes to what makes you beautiful. Yeah, okay. So as I was saying, for your pile for this rose quartz, you're very classic. You're very like timeless beauty. Like the rose quartz is so popular because it improves all aspects of life. Like you can never go wrong with picking up a rose quartz at a crystal shop, because no matter what you're looking for, whether that's self-love, healing, or relationship, harmonious love and healing, like it's there for you, and it's there to really like give love, joy, acceptance, and emotional healing and strong vibrations that really improve all the aspects of life that you can think of. And that's how you come across to other people. Like you come across as someone who's very, I keep saying timeless, but like, yeah, you're a very timeless beauty. Like you're someone who just radiates like joy and love and compassion. You might be a girly girl, or you might be more femme if you're a masculine, or if you're a male, or if you're non-binary, you like to wear more feminine-esque clothes or jewelry, or you might like dresses and skirts. You might love wearing the color pink or baby blue or pastels or red, you know? Like, you're someone who like really likes the more divine feminine, the more girly, like culturally girly, like aesthetic, you know? Like, you might really like cottagecore too. Love that, love that. And you have Dahlia. Dignity. A wise man has dignity without pride. A fool has pride without dignity. Confucius. So before like putting that down, I laughed because in my head I heard like freak in the sheets. So you know, they say like classy in the streets, freak in the sheets. You kind of give off that vibe. Like, you might be very like cutesy and sweet, like, but there's like a undertone of sexuality that's like very sultry and very like mysterious. Like, people, to the public, what makes you beautiful is that like your people's ultimate desires, you know? Like, you come across as someone who's very like sweet and very like femme. Like, you very much embody what Venus is. You very much embody the Empress when it comes to like having very motherly, nurturing, beautiful, like, but like beautiful in the sense of like Venus vibe. So compassionate, loving, like things look right. Like, you know, if you like style wise, like if you make an outfit, like, you know how to pair things well. You know how to like match your jewelry with your statement pieces. You know how to match colors really well. You know how to match textures, and you know how to match shapes when it comes to, and you really know how to style your body when like you know what kind of clothes will emphasize the parts that you want, and you have a really great bodily awareness when it comes to presenting yourself to other people. And that's what makes you beautiful. Like, people really see the detail and really see like how gorgeous your femininity is, regardless if you're man, woman, non-binary. Like, people see that very feminine air, that very Venus-like air around you, where you just kind of embody like people's like sexual desires, and like, again, but like in a very clean way. Like, it's very clean and dignified. Like, it's not like you're wearing, like, you don't need to show a lot of skin in order to be noticed. Like, no shade, no, like, if you show a lot of skin, that's totally cool, but like, you know how to like get attention without like having to over sexualize yourself, you know? Like, it's kind of like it's like Cardi B on the red carpet, not Cardi B in her music videos. It's like, you have great style to you, and you know how to look very classy, and you know how to really accentuate your assets. And but like that's publicly. That's like, you know how to show up to a gathering and be the proper attire, you know? Like if you're going to like a baby shower, like you're someone who knows how to pick out a good cute outfit for the baby shower versus going to the club, you know? You're very appropriate when it comes to dressing up. Yeah, and in terms of the public really notices that about you and sees it, and like it's very beautiful. Like a lot of your personality comes out when it comes to your clothes. Cool. Okay. So, to the closest people around you, you have rewiring the nervous system, as well as expressing free will. So to the closest people around you, you're someone who is kind of coming out of their shell. It feels like if you've watched Heartbreak High, there's a character called Quinny, and she is someone who is very emotionally stable and very good at like knowing her passions and knowing how to express herself and really going through the motions. She's good at handling herself. And so like she is also someone who is on the spectrum. So I'm kind of getting like you might be working through something, you might have social anxiety, you might be on the spectrum as well, you might have BPD, you might be like ADHD, like you might, yeah, you might like have a trait like that you are learning how to really incorporate into your life and to see it as a blessing and to see it as an understanding of yourself and how you navigate the world. And to your loved ones, that's what makes you beautiful, is someone who's really getting to know themselves and really understanding all parts of themselves and is learning how to incorporate the fact that they might handle certain situations differently than others. Like, for example, especially with the expressing free will, you're now being very vocal about like if you get sensory overload, you're being very vocal about like how much time you need if you take a long time. Like I know like a lot of my friends have ADHD, like diagnosed ADHD, and they take quite a bit of time. They're either very, very particular about time, or they like take quite a bit of time. And depending on how well versed they are with their ADHD, I find that the ones who have known longer that they have ADHD are very much like time oriented. They are someone who's very precise, who's always on time, if not early, and who is very structured and manages time very well. So you're someone who's stepping into that phase of being able to really like vocalize how much time you need and be very stern when it comes to like your wants and needs when how you navigate the world. Like if you're getting to sensory overload, you ask the people around you, hey, can we go to a quiet spot? And that's what really makes you beautiful to your loved ones, because they're really happy that you can be vulnerable and that you can trust them with whatever you're going through, and that you allow yourself to be yourself around them. They're really happy about that. They're really happy that you can you are taking care of yourself so well, and vocalizing what you like, vocalizing your needs especially. Okay, so we're gonna go to how you see yourself and what makes you beautiful in your own eyes. Okay, so we have the Two of Wands in reverse. We have the Five of Swords in reverse. We also have the King of Swords upright. Yeah, you see conflict like a mile away. Like, you have a really good sense of how to handle conflict and how to mitigate any tower moments, any moments that are a little bit more disruptive, any moments that are stormy, like, you're someone who can weather out the storm. You're someone who can use their words in order to help grow relationships. And what makes you beautiful to yourself is the fact that you recognize how much you've grown in terms of your communication skills, and in terms of how clear you've gotten when speaking about your needs and your wants. You're very much like the closest people around you. You have a good sense of how much you've grown when it comes to your developments in handling yourself and handling the more stormy times and handling the more rougher emotions that you may be going through. Aww. And like, when you're going through cloudy days, you are someone who knows how to take care of themselves, and you're so proud of yourself for that. Consciously, you're like, yes, yeah. Obviously, in the moment when you're like going through it, you're like, let me just shove a bagel in my face. But you know what? I did it. I ate today, And you talk to yourself kindly now, like, you've grown a beautiful, just a magnificent relationship with yourself, where you can be honest with your needs and your wants, and you can bring an awareness to it so that you can take care of yourself really well. And it's something that you're very proud of, something that you're just like overwhelmed with when it comes to overwhelmed. Inwardly, it just brings you so much joy, and it brings you so much relief that you can navigate the world in the ways you want to. Okay. So when it comes to your subconscious self, how does your subconscious self, what does it want to say in terms of what makes you beautiful? Oh, okay, last but not least, in terms of your conscious self, you have a wonderful intuition, and you know it. Yeah. You also might like the tattoos you have, so. And yeah, you just love your style. You love your like more feminine vibes. Like, you love that about yourself, and you, like, that's what you feel beautiful in, Okay. Sorry. Let's move on to your subconscious self. You have superhero powers. Oh, I love that. And elderly people. Okay. So subconsciously, what makes you beautiful is like your maturity levels and the way that you you resolve conflicts, you know? Like, you've gotten to know yourself well enough to understand your potentials in emotional recovery and emotional stability. And subconsciously, that you've taught yourself so many lessons, and you've just become so mature when it comes to really taking care of yourself. And I keep getting back to that, because like that's what the cards are saying. Like, it's funny because subconsciously it's kind of the same as consciously. Like, you're very much, ooh, that's cool. You're very much aligned with your subconscious, and you're someone who can like pick up on these subtleties when it comes to the symbolisms in your life. Yeah, and a fire, like a ambulance or a fire truck just went by, or a police car. So you know how to be there on the scene to any trouble that comes your way. And again, because you have elderly people, you have a timeless fashion. You have a timeless beauty about you that never goes out of style. Yeah, no matter how old you are, like, something subconsciously that wants to come out too is that you know how to take care of your heart well, and you're very grounded when it comes to what you let in energetically. And your heart's really much tied in with your sexuality. So like, if you are sexual, then you're someone who likes the emotional comfort and the emotional connection when it comes to being with other people. You're very grounded emotionally as well. You're very grounded emotionally. Okay, so that's it. That's how your subconscious self sees you. That's how your conscious self, the people closest to you, as well as the public, see you in terms of what makes you beautiful. So thank you, my darling. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Hey, pile 4. If you chose this ferruginous quartz or this golden healer quartz, then this is your pile. So first we're going to get into how the public sees you, and we're going to do that through the energy of the crystal as well as the first card. And then we're going to go into how the closest people around you see you when it comes to what makes you beautiful. And then how consciously you see yourself when it comes to your beauty. And then subconsciously, things that you might not know, you may know, but you might want to become aware of a little bit more when it comes to what makes you beautiful. And I just saw 4/4, so yeah, divine protection is always with you. Very nice. So getting into and tapping into how the public sees my pile 4s. The ferruginous quartz is a high energy quartz that stabilizes the body, relieves pain, and brings emotional stability. It accelerates healing to blood and leg cramps and clarity of thought makes space for high concentration and positive ideas. So when it comes to how the public sees you in terms of what makes you beautiful, I'm betting that you have really nice legs. Like, you're very nice long legs. You have a really nice tone to your skin, and there's like a natural flush of like blush on your face, and naturally, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes our blood vessels show up on certain parts of our body. The way yours does is very attractive to other people, and like, you might get red in the face after gym or something like that, because I do that too. But people find that very endearing and very cute, and because of that blood flow to your face, naturally, when you're not like sweating from the gym, it just gives you a very healthy, glowy, naturally blushed vibe. You have a very stable body, and that's what makes you very attractive to other people. Like, people feel like very safe around you. They feel very emotionally stable. Like, when they are around you and the public's around you, you give them a sense of healing, and like whatever shit they're going through, they can just like kind of let go of it and kind of like just put that aside. And this is very true if you work in public fields, if you're like a service worker, or if you're just out in the public a lot. Like, you give such a healing presence just being out in the public, and that's what makes you so beautiful. Okay, you also have nasturtium. Victory and conquest. They who control others may be powerful, but they who has mastered themselves is mightier still. Asu. So this is just confirming the stability that you have, because people, to the public, you come across as someone who is very competent in themselves. Like, they can trust you with a task. You're very dependable. Like, they know you're gonna be, you're very like honest. Like, they know you're not gonna like fuck anyone over. You're a very sweet and compassionate person, and what makes you beautiful is that people can rely on you for whatever they need, because you just have that dependability to you. You have that work ethic about you. You have that, you show up and you do the job well. So I'm getting a lot of like, in terms of like the public, like your job really wants to come through and say that you are a beautiful presence and you're a beautiful force to be reckoned with. And what makes you beautiful is the fact that you devote your time to this career, and that you devote your time to serving people and being such a healing presence in their life. Like, you don't have to work in the medical field. Like, you can be like a nurse or a doctor, or just someone who's a health practitioner. But like, that's not all that I'm getting. Like, again, if you're like a service worker, if you're like a barista or a grocery shop clerk, or someone who's like, who just has to deal with the public a lot, like, your presence is always noted. And like, your beauty is that you show up with such grace and elegance, and you have such a stable force. Like, how do I say this? Like, can I have examples of people who... Okay. Like, in The Devil Wears Prada, you know, like, Meryl Streep's character, you give off, like, the vibe of competency. You give off the vibe of authority. No matter what position you play. Like, when you're around, like, things go smoother. And that's how the public sees you. Like, they see you as someone who has a lot of control over themselves and has a lot of depth to their soul, but someone who knows himself well enough to be like controlled about their emotions to the public. Like, yeah, you're giving off like dependable, authoritative, but very like kind. Like, you're like you're like my bad bitches of the piles. Yeah, that's how it feels. Like, you have such a healing presence about you, but like to the public you give off such an energy of like she's not someone to be messed with, you know? And that's just such an air of respect. A lot of people publicly have such a respect for you. And that's what makes you beautiful publicly. I'm also getting that you have really, like, I was trying to say really and very at the same time. So you have very beautiful eyes to the point where it tongue ties people. Like, it's very mesmerizing eyes that you have. And like the way you flow and the way you move about is still very graceful, very lovely, you know? You don't show yourself to just anyone, and that's what the public loves about you. Like, they like that hint of mystery. Okay. So in terms of the closest people around you, what makes you beautiful is that you have resolving anger, as well as honoring diversity. These are really pretty colors to come out. So to the other people around you, to the closest people around you, like your friends or your family or your loved ones or significant others, or even your pets. I'm also getting your pets. You're very like controlled. You're very emotionally controlled. Like, you're very passionate as well, you know? Like, you are someone who there might be like, okay, so you have a friend group and there are like two people fighting in that friend group. You know how to respect those two people's opinions and come to a compromise or come to a resolution and kind of like you help people, like the people around you who are going through things with each other, especially in relationships, you help them resolve their differences. Especially when it comes to differences of opinion. Like, if someone's like, yes, hot dogs are a sandwich, and then your other friend's like, no, they're not a sandwich, they're a hot dog. And you're gonna be the person in the middle being like, yeah, like can't you see that it's both? You know, like, can't you see a hot dog is a sandwich and it's also just a hot dog, depending on how like you want to name it and how your vocabulary is structured. And they're just like, oh, true. You know, you're someone who's to your closest friends and to your loved ones and your family members. You're someone who can resolve differences, and you're someone who's the middle person who can, but like the middle person in the way where you actually do a good job resolving and seeing the different sides of the same coin and being able to connect those differences and honor those differences. You're like an angel in disguise. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing angel in disguise. So like you don't show this to just anyone. Like you're not always someone who likes to publicly be like involved. For example, like people might see you as like a really loving presence, but like that's the thing, like you're very like stingy when it comes to whose energy you give to other people, because you're like my bad bitch pile. Like you've been through it and you know when people deserve your energy and when people don't. Like that's what I'm getting. So like to the closest people in your life, you're someone who's very much like very sweet, very compromising, very lovely, very wonderful to be around. You're very compassionate, but like people who publicly see you won't get that side of you first time they see you. Like you might be in a position where like your energy and your aura gives that off, but you're not willing to like share that publicly with just anyone, you know? Like if you have, say you're a barista, like if you have like regulars, you'll be really sweet to those regulars. But if you just met a customer, you're just like, you have that air about you where it's like, don't mess with me. Like you can't mess with me. Like I'm gonna tear you a new one if you try to mess with me, you know? Like, and it's really like angel in disguise, and I really love that about you. And this is what the public and the closest people around you find very endearing and very beautiful about you. Okay. You also have a fire reveals a path of renewed direction once the burning is complete. And conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself. So I'm getting that you're very passionate and you have a very good sense of self-love. So you have a good self-care routine and you have a good workout routine, and that's what really makes you beautiful to the closest people around you. Like they see how much you care about yourself and how much work you're willing to put into your body and your self-care and your mental health and your emotional well-being and your spiritual well-being. And it gives them a sense of calmness. It gives them a stability it gives them an inspiration when they look towards like, oh wow, like I love Pile 4's 10-step care skin routine. It is so invigorating to see how well they take care of themselves and how much they know about skin products. Like maybe I'll go ask them for advice or some tips when taking care of my own skin, you know, like or like I love how toned my Pile 4s are. Like I feel like I need some help when it comes to taking care of my body. So I'm going to ask Pile 4 for help and ask Pile 4 what their exercises are. And you just get very passionate about the things that you love, And I'm getting more like you're like on to the next, you know, like when something's not serving you, or like you find something you love more, you go with it, and you're not someone to stay stagnant. Like, you set the trends, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not just wearing like same olds all the time. Like, you can, and you can still rock that, obviously, but like it's more of the fact like you were like the first one to get into Y2K fashion when it first came out, and like you were like the first one to like beach core or mermaid core when it first came out, you know, like you're my trailblazers when it comes to your fashion sense, and that's how the closest people around you see you. Okay, so we're gonna go on to your conscious self and how your conscious self views you. Ooh, this is interesting. You have the Empress in reverse. You have the Moon upright. And then you have the Ace of Swords upright. Wow, Cancerian vibes with this moon. So when it comes to your conscious self, this is a very, like, I wanted to say this earlier, but it didn't seem appropriate. So this is why. When it comes to your conscious self and how you view yourself, you love your alone time. You love the time you have to yourself, and you love the fact that you make time for yourself. You probably make time to meditate as well and be able to tap into your third eye heavily, and you have a very heightened intuitive sense of your emotions and the world around you. And you're not afraid to go into the void. You're not afraid to go into the deeper aspects of yourself and the more difficult emotions that we must ride through. You love that you're a bad bitch. You love the fact that you're not always nurturing to people. You love the fact that you are stingy with your energy, because it's not really stingy. It's like you know how to set firm boundaries, and you know what it's like to live in this world, so you know that not everyone's fair and just, and not everyone thinks like you, and so you just like kind of keep away to those who don't serve you. And you love the fact that you're very independent in that sense, that you don't really care for other people's validation in that sense. Like, you're not here people pleasing because you don't want to people please. Like, fuck that. Like, you know how to really take care of your energy, and you know how to I'm really seeing, especially when it comes to communication. When it comes to communication, you're very, very selective on with who you talk to. So that gives you such a power and such an inner strength, especially because she's going shh, and she's like quieting her mouth as well as closing her eyes. You have such a good discernment in terms of who you share your vocality with, who you share talking to with. Like, you won't just talk to anyone, you know? Like, they have to be like someone who, like, you know is a good person, or someone who you know that you vibe with. Like, you have to sense them about them, that they are on the same level with you. And that's something that you love about yourself. You love that you're so in tune with yourself, with both your instinctual self as well as your conscious self, as well as your rational self. Like you have a really great discernment about you, and you love that. And that's what makes you beautiful to you, is that you have managed to put in these boundaries and put in the work, so you can know who's who, you know? Like, you might have been through shit. You might have gone through the phase of having to cut people off and let go of people. So, yeah. You're a bad bitch, and you know it. Love that. Love that. Okay. So, we're going to move on to the subconscious things in terms of what makes you beautiful and what you should be aware of when it comes to your beauty. You have falling. I saw 2202. So, yeah, a lot of people are very attracted to you. Like, you make people fall for you. Like, easily make people fall for you. And I also saw 2222. So it's a very, like, balanced and very harmonious and very relationship-esque style that you can bring to the table. You can. It's up to you. Again, subconsciously, it's like you can have basically anyone you want if you put yourself out there. You also have nudity. And she's kind of covered up. So, like, I really hope this is good. I really love the colors of this. Yeah, you might dress in a very nice color set. You might have a really good way in terms of color coordinating your outfits, because this is a really beautiful spread when it comes to the color coordination. Okay, so subconsciously, okay, that's also something you do. So, like, you don't have to try in terms of, like, how you dress. It's not like you always consciously are like, oh, this color is on the opposite end of the wheel of this color, so they must go together. No, you're someone that you'll just pick out things that you like from your closet, and you're like, bam, an outfit, and it just works so well, you know? Like, it can be like the most random colors, and they just work so well together, and you're just subconsciously, you just know how to do that. You just know how to dress yourself that way, especially when it comes to what you wear and what colors you put on your body. So yeah, I'm also getting the message that subconsciously there's a part of you that wants to be vulnerable with others and kind of wants to, like, fall in love with someone who's in love with you. And there's a softy side of you, you know what I mean? Like, you might come across to people like a bad bitch, and you might, to yourself consciously, be a bad bitch. But there's like a cute little, way deep down in your heart space, there's like this really cute, very loving, very romantic side to you. I'm getting very scorpionic vibes, you know what I mean? Like, scorpionic in the way of you have a very bold and very mysterious kind of public presence, but in your subconscious, to the people you love as well, you are very passionate. You are very vulnerable. You are very much someone who can dive into the depths of who they are, their emotions, and really be loyal to your loved ones. And I think that's why you put, like, such a guard up, to be honest, is that, like, there might have been people in the past where you were loyal to them and they weren't, like, the best for you, and they weren't, like, they didn't share in that same energy. So it made you kind of close up even more and be very selective and very discerning of who you talk to. But there's a part of you that really wants to, like, experience that again with someone that you can really trust. And there was like this reel I saw on Instagram where it was like, oh, like your healthiest relationship is going to be the hardest relationship you get into, because you'll constantly push someone away because you've learned so much shit and you're healing from so much shit from your past relationships. But like once you stop pushing them away and you can let them through and be vulnerable with them, it's gonna be like it's gonna be your best relationship, because it's so healthy and nurturing, and it brings you so much comfort and brings you so much security and safety to your life. Yeah. Like you can set up a home with this person and you can fully fall into them and trust them with your heart. That's subconsciously what makes you beautiful to yourself. There's a part of you that really wants to explore relational depth and explore discovering themselves with another person, romantically or not. There's just like a side of you that wants to become vulnerable again. Yeah. So my pile fours, that's what makes you beautiful. You are my bad bitches. You are my scorpionic pile who really is just such a healing force to be reckoned with. And you are just so beautiful and stable and strong, and you deserve all that stability and loyalty and strength right back at you. And that's something you'll get, you know? Okay. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, or evening, my beautiful intuitive babies. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.